During his brief remarks from the Rose Garden about the protests against police brutality and institutional racism, Donald Trump said this:
I am mobilizing all available federal resources, civilian and military, to stop the rioting and looting, to end the destruction and arson, and to protect the rights of law-abiding Americans, including your Second Amendment rights.
Wait, what? What do Second Amendment rights have to do with any of this? Let's decode. In 2008, the Supreme Court found the Second Amendment protects the rights of individuals to possess a firearm unconnected to malicious service, and to use that firearm for traditionally lawful purposes, like defending oneself within the home. Now, have you heard of protesters preventing the rights of individuals from using firearms to defend themselves in the home? No? Okay. So let's set that aside and look at how leaders, including Trump, have deployed Second Amendment rhetoric in the past. First, there's Sharon Angle. You may remember she ran against Senator Harry Reid back in 2010. She made huge headlines when she said,
"This Congress keeps going the way it is. People are really looking toward those Second Amendment remedies."
Then there's Senator Rand Paul. He predicted that if elections don't bring Republicans into power, quote, the founders made sure we had Plan B, the Second Amendment. Oh, and yes, then there's Trump himself.
If she gets to pick her judges, nothing you can do, folks. Although the Second Amendment people, maybe there is, I don't know.
That quote was largely interpreted as Trump inviting people with guns to, how do I put this accurately, kill Hillary Clinton. In fact, for a very long time, the conservative movement has actually promoted the idea that armed individuals are empowered to kill government officials. It's what Josh Horowitz calls the insurrectionist theory. It's the belief that access to firearms is key for protecting individual rights from a tyrannical government. And under this theory, gun owners are really seen as super citizens, as individuals who have a right to violently overturn democratically elected leaders or policies if they so wish. Now, to state just the very obvious, leaders who suggest gun violence as a means for achieving a political end are playing an incredibly dangerous game. In 1995, Timothy McVeigh bombed a government building and killed 168 Americans because he was sending a message to what he considered a hostile government. In 2008, a disgruntled business owner who felt mistreated by municipal government in Missouri went on a shooting spree during a council meeting and killed 6 people. Last month, armed intimidators held rallies in public spaces, at the homes of government officials, and even stormed the capital of Michigan to try to convince leaders to lift COVID-19 restrictions prematurely. I mean, just days ago, Trump's own Department of Homeland Security issued a memo to states across the country that warned that extremists, including white supremacists, were inciting followers to engage in violence in order to start a civil war. Denver police seized assault weapons and handguns from an anti-government agitator who actually brought all of that stockpile in his car when he went to the George Floyd protests. So Trump refers to Second Amendment rights. He's speaking to a conservative audience that has spent decades internalizing the idea of insurrection. In this case, Trump is seeking to create a contrast between himself and state governors who he claims are not using adequate force against protesters.
You have to dominate. If you don't dominate, you're wasting your time. They're going to run over you. You're going to look like a bunch of jerks.
He is inviting individuals who have stockpiled firearms for years to use those firearms. And we better hope they don't listen to